Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and today I'm looking at a book which has come in from Routledge, which is part of the Taylor and Francis group, and it's on an area which I think many people will find fascinating. It's called International Internet Law. It's this book here. Look at it in a minute. It's been written by Joanna Kulesza, and it's been translated by two people who are mentioned, and I'm not going to try to pronounce their surnames. What I would do is like to thank them all very much for producing this work, which I think will be great help to everybody concerned with how the internet is going and what we're going to be doing with it in the future. We've given it a review on the web, which we've called Coping with Internet Threats. Read this treatise on internet governance. And the reason I'm talking about that is because it's very, very much to the fore today about the way in which the internet is actually working and what is actually happening. And it's taken this book from Routledge. It's part of the Routledge research in IT and commerce. You can see that at the front. There's the spine. It's only a slim book, but it's very valuable, I think, in its own way. 194 pages. There's the index right at the back. And you've got the usual approach, which is a very, very detailed bibliography, which covers a very wide range of areas, because this is a global matter. The bibliography, as you can see, is quite an extensive one from the thickness of it. The actual copy itself, there are no paragraph numbers, but a lot of footnotes. A lot of detail which is given in it, looking at guiding principles and a whole range of other important areas. Obviously the main thing to read to start off with is the preface, and I'm going to come on to that because Kofi Annan has said a few things which I think are worth mentioning. 20 years ago the internet was in its infancy. Now no business or government, of course, can do without it, nor can most individual users. It really has taken over many people's business and social lives. Nevertheless, in many respects, it's grown from infancy into a wild child, or as some have said, a wild frontier, almost completely lawless, and therefore subject to exploitation and abuse, with all kinds of desperate measures put in place to make it, quote, safe for the children, unquote, not to mention the rest of us. We've obviously got this as a worry. Now, Joanna Kulesza, who's an assistant professor of international public law at Lodz University, has therefore written a timely and important book, in our view, advocating international standards of governance. Hear, hear. The book should particularly interest legal scholars concerned with international law and international relations. How far we're going to get, I don't know, but at least it's a step in the right direction. So practitioners involved in any area of IT law, or for that matter international trade over the internet, will also find it immensely useful. This lucid and erudite book begins with a quote from Kofi Annan, which is right at the beginning in the preface, who, speaking at the Global Internet Governance Forum in New York in 2004, observed that the internet has revolutionized trade, health, education, and indeed the very fabric of human communication and exchange. Thank you, Kofi Annan. Clearly, he goes on to say, there is a need for governance, but that does not necessarily mean that it has to be done in the traditional way. For example, something that is so very different will need other ways of dealing with it. So since this quite prescient statement was made, internet usage worldwide has increased to an estimated 2.5 billion users, or 1 in 3 of the world's population. And therefore there should be some need for international standards, and it's become an urgent issue. The quote that we would put forward here is, laying down common legal principles governing the internet as a whole would facilitate the protection of users' rights. That's actually from Joanna, and she's absolutely right. The book reveals a broad range of views which I think are very helpful to give us an idea of where we're going at the moment. One of the suggested solutions from the author revolves around the principles of international internet law, which is obviously going to gain much more substance in the future, and we think it would evolve similar to international environmental law. I would like to thank everybody who's been involved in this, the translators and Joanna, for an excellent book, because any user of the internet, certainly anyone concerned with its future, will find much to consider in what's a very thought-provoking work. So thank you very much to all concerned, and very good luck for the future. Bye bye.